today I'm going to go over some common mistakes that I see in hand lettering, and the first is inconsistent spacing. That's when the letters are either too far or too close and it's just not consistent. So the way that I fix it is I make sure that each letter is spread equally apart, and it's really nice to use graph paper for this, especially when you're first starting out, so that you can start to practice and make sure that your letters are consistently spaced. The second is inconsistent looping, and that's when there's a really big loop in the same word as a really little loop. And so again, the graph paper can be helpful with this, just making sure that the loops stay consistent, especially within the same word. Otherwise it starts to look a little bit funny. And the last mistake that I often see is inconsistent downstrokes or upstrokes. And this is for people who haven't quite mastered the feeling of when the pen goes down, it's nice and thick, and when it goes up, it's thin. A good way to fix this is just to practice the warm-ups that I showed in one of my first videos and make sure that you are confident in when strokes should be thick and when they should be thin, and then that will solve this problem really quickly. And that just comes with practice. So make sure that every time your pen goes down, that it's a thick line. A good way to practice this is to choose one word, like the word hello. I like using the word hello because it has a lot of loops to practice consistent looping. And practice all of the things we just talked about. So practice consistent spacing, consistent looping, and consistent down and up strokes. Practice it 10 times, and then you'll just start to feel more and more confident. And this is on lined paper, but if you want to do it on graph paper, that works really well. And it helps you to practice the consistent spacing as well as consistent looping in your hand lettering. And I find that if I warm up really carefully before I start a project, my lettering looks a lot better. So I always try to start with some good warm-ups. And then the challenge for this week is to practice an entire sentence and then check your own work to make sure that you've spaced your letters consistently, looped your letters consistently, and that you paid attention to down and up strokes. And you're just going to write a sentence and check for all of those things, just like you did when you wrote the word hello 10 times. I would recommend writing the sentence at least 3 times, and then the best thing you can do for yourself is to reflect on how you did. And you can see I did some reflection. I didn't like one of my letters. I drew a little frowny face, and it's good to analyze exactly what you didn't like about it, and then you can go back and fix it. So my biggest takeaways are to warm up really carefully, and then to practice a few times before you start your final draft, and then reflect on what you liked or didn't like, and then go back and fix it. Bye!